All, and welcome to part 2 of our 3-part companion planting series. This series was created to help you build the best companion planting plan for your garden. Now, in the last episode, we got an overview of companion planting and its benefits, as well as walked through my simple companion planting process of planting each main crop with a flower and an herb. Today, we're going to talk about companion planting with herbs, as well as learn about the properties of 12 of the most common and beneficial herb companions. Welcome to the Garden Things with Friends podcast. We're here to show that building a thriving garden is possible for everyone, even those with busy schedules and long to-do lists. I'm Ashley, your host, and 2 years ago, I turned my garden dreams into reality in my suburban backyard. Through trial and error over the next 2 seasons, I have created a thriving garden that I absolutely love. My goal is to inspire you to create your dream garden too. So let's grow together. So let's jump right into today's episodes and the benefits of companion planting with herbs. Now, last week we talked about the benefits of vegetable companion planting, and many of those are also relevant when we're thinking about companion planting with herbs. In fact, aromatic herbs are excellent companion plants and the rock stars of what I consider the most important benefits of companion planting. Herbs are great for attracting beneficial insects such as honeybees, lacewings, and parasitic wasps, and they're a great way to repel garden pests. In addition to these companion planting benefits, herbs also provide a wealth of health benefits, and many of the herb companions are also culinary. Think oregano, thyme, rosemary, and cilantro. All of these are great multi-purpose herbs you should definitely placing in your garden bed this growing season. So let's dive right into the 12 best herbs to companion plant with. And I want you to keep in mind that these are only some of the most common and beneficial herb companions. There's so many more out there that you can experiment with, but for now, we're going to focus on these. So herb number 1 is basil, and basil is truly one of my favorite herbs to grow. I believe it's a must-have for the garden. There are so many varieties with so much difference in the flavor and uses. My favorites are holy basil, lemon basil, and purple basil, which also makes a beautiful cut flower. Now, in the garden, basil's strong aroma makes it a great companion to many crops as far as deterring pests like the tomato hornworm and asparagus beetle. It can be planted near tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, and asparagus. Herb number 2 is chives, and chives are another herb that I like to just sprinkle throughout my garden. They are perennial and often the first sign of spring with their thin green leaves. Chives are easy to grow, easy to separate, and great to cook with throughout the year. In the garden, chives are particularly beneficial against rabbits, deer, aphids, and Japanese beetles, which can wreak havoc on rose bushes. As a caution though, chives are a member of the allium family and they release chemicals that can stall the growth of beans and peas, so you want to avoid planting them near those. You can plant chives near lettuce, fruit trees, roses, carrots, strawberries, blueberries, and brassicas. Now, herb number 3 is dill, and when we think of dill, we normally think of pickles, but dill is a great companion herb for our crops, especially as it flowers. In the garden, dill acts like a trap crop, and as it flowers, it attracts predatory insects like parasitic wasps and lacewings. And these insects attack both hornworms and aphids. Don't plant dill near carrots, though, because it can inhibit the growth. It can be planted next to brassicas, cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers. Herb number 4 is sage. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't really ever been a fan of sage until, of course, I found out that it is literal magic when it comes to soothing a sore throat. I grow tons of it now. Sage is the herb of Thanksgiving, but also a powerhouse medicinal herb. In the garden, sage's strong aroma is great for pest control. It's known to repel carrot flies and cabbage worms. And I'm going to caution you from planting it near cucumbers as it releases a chemical that can inhibit the growth. You can plant it near brassicas and carrots. Herb number 5 is rosemary, and rosemary is known as the memory herb as it medically and scientifically has been proven to improve memory function. Its aromatic foliage and culinary versatility make it a staple in most kitchen gardens. It's also a gorgeous plant for those who like to landscape with food. In the garden, rosemary is particularly great for plants that require full sun, as it thrives in dry, warm weather. It's known to repel cabbage moths, bean beetles, Japanese beetles, and carrot flies. It can be planted near brassicas, beans, peas, and carrots. For herb number 6, we're talking about thyme, and my introduction to companion planting was actually with thyme. Early in my gardening journey, I had a huge problem with rabbits everywhere in the garden, except where I had thyme. Now, thyme is also medicinal and culinary, but in my mind, it is the best companion. I plant it everywhere. In the garden, thyme can repel pests such as cabbage loopers and cabbage moths, as well as rabbits and deers. They make good companions to many brassicas, as they also attract beneficial insects such as ladybugs, which are predators of many garden pests. And you can plant thyme near brassicas, tomatoes, tomatillos, and strawberries. Herb number 7 is oregano, and oregano brings so much flavor to tons of our favorite dishes, and it's thought of as the antibiotic of the earth. In the garden, this herb can do wonders as a companion, and it's great for plants that are susceptible to aphid attacks, as well as can deter cucumber beetles. You can plant oregano near cucumbers, peppers, eggplant, squash, beans, brassicas, and strawberries. Herb number 8 is mint, and mint's known for its refreshing flavor, its fast-growing and prolific nature. It adds flavor and beauty to our gardens. But in the garden, mint is invasive, so it's best grown in containers instead of directly in your garden beds. As a companion, it can repel cabbage moths, aphids, and flea beetles. You can plant it near tomatoes, peas, and brassicas. Herb number 9 is parsley, and parsley is more than a garnish in the garden. It brings flavor and appeal to dishes, and as a companion plant, it's a must for the garden. In the garden, it attracts beneficial insects that prey on pests like aphids. Additionally, it can deter the asparagus beetle. I want to caution planting parsley near garlic and carrots. You can plant it near asparagus, peppers, tomatoes, and tomatillos. For herb number 10, we're talking about borage, and borage has these beautiful blue flowers, cucumber flavor, and tons of medicinal properties. It has these star-shaped blossoms that are beautiful in the garden. Borage can help prevent diseases in tomato plants and attract beneficial insects such as pollinators, as well as a lot of predatory beneficial insects. You can plant borage near strawberries, cucumbers, squash, and tomatoes. Herb number 11 is cilantro, and it's also known as coriander in a lot of regions. And it is a herb that is in so many of our favorite dishes. It's a cool weather crop that thrives in the late winter and early spring. In the garden, as a companion, cilantro really shines after it begins to bolt and go to seed. The large flower pads of cilantro attract pollinating hoverflies and predators that prey on Colorado potato beetles. You can plant cilantro near potatoes, lettuce, arugula, and spinach. Now, herb number 12 is chamomile, and this gentle herb is treasured for its soothing nature and its beautiful flowers. It has an apple-like scent and is really great in teas, skincare, and many remedies. In the garden, its strong scent basically masks that of brassicas, and all of the flowers attract beneficial pollinators. You can plant chamomile near brassicas, blueberries, and cucumbers. Now, before we end this episode, I want to share a few best practices for using herbs as companion plants in the garden. The first thing we want to do is to spread our herbs out throughout the garden instead of planting them all in one area, like having an herb garden. You want to interplant them throughout your garden to maximize their benefits. Additionally, when you're planting your garden, don't plant herbs for the middle of the garden beds. They're going to grow much larger than you anticipate. So plant them along the borders where you can harvest often to keep their size manageable. The next tip for companion planting with herbs is to allow your herbs to go to flower. Herbs like dill and cilantro make good companion plants when they flower because their compound flowers attract all sorts of beneficial insects. And lastly, harvest often. This can help you manage the growth of your herbs as well as give you abundant harvest for culinary and medicinal uses. So there you have it. Herbs not only bring flavor and beauty to your garden, but they also serve as valuable companions to other plants. Keep in mind that companion planting is not an exact science, and some trial and error may be necessary to find the perfect combination for your specific garden. And remember, this list is not exclusive. There are tons of herbs that can be used to companion plant alongside your garden vegetables. Now, if you dug this episode, I would be honored if you'd rate this podcast and spread the word to your friends who are also passionate about gardening. Your 5-star support fuels the growth of Garden Things with Friends, and together we'll cultivate a network of thriving gardens and plant-loving friends. Happy gardening, and remember, it's never the wrong time to grow where you are.